On this 10th anniversary Motown Christmas special, I am very happy to have former leaders of the Supremes, Sherry Payne and Susie Green, with me here today on Christmas Day. Hi, ladies.
Hi,
Hi, Steve.
we
Now,
miss you.
now I know Josh couldn't make it, um, but we're gonna have I know we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a good chat
Yes.
because every
Yes.
time us three get together, it's always a giggle fest.
Yes, it
We
is.
love to laugh. We
That's
love to
right. We're
laugh.
not ashamed.
That's right.
By the way, before I go any further, right? Congratulations on your BME award for Unconditional Love.
Oh, thank
Oh,
you
isn't it
so
a
much.
wonderful song? I love that song.
Thank you. Me too.
I'm going to be playing that later on in
Oh,
today's broadcast.
thank
Uh,
you.
and I'm also going to be chatting with Andre to do a
Okay.
BMA special as well
Hmm.
because
Cool.
we did try to organize it, but Andre being Andre got to me like 24 hours prior to it going out, and
Hmm.
we couldn't organize it all because
Yeah.
I was actually going to broadcast the BMAs,
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
but
Wow.
we're working on something, so that's going to be canny.
All right.
Right
Okay.
We
now,
look forward to it.
now
Okay.
I've chatted with you on numerous occasions over the past couple of years, but for our new listeners, can you tell me about your early days prior to the Supremes? I'll start with Cherie for that one.
Sherry, okay. I joined the Supremes in 1973. I think it was September, somewhere around there, and replacing Jean Terrell, who had replaced Diana Ross.
Yeah. But what did you do prior to the Supremes?
I had been with a group called the Glass House,
Uh huh.
and that was with Invictus Records in Detroit. And it was a company formed by Holland Dozier Holland, Edward and Brian Holland and Lamont Dozier. And,
Hmm.
they were the key songwriting team at Motown, and they had left Motown to form their own company.
Yeah. So well, let's go back even further. Who
Okay.
influenced you in music wise, and where were you born? Oh, that's a good one to start with.
Well, born and raised in Detroit, and
Yes.
growing up, my idols were uh, Billie Holiday and Gloria Lynn.
Ooh.
Yeah. I love Billie Holiday. I do love Billie Holiday.
Yes,
Hmm.
indeed.
Susie, how about you, my darling?
Well, I was born in Houston, Texas.
Ah, country girl.
Yes, I was. And, you know, music has always been a part of my life. I started doing commercials, baby food commercials. That was my
Uh
first
huh.
outing. And then,
Yeah.
of course, I sang, in clubs around New York, the
Yeah.
Living Room, and clubs that were, on the East Side. And I had a wonderful manager, George Treadwell, who was the manager of the Drifters, and he had discovered Sarah Vaughan. He was married to her, actually, and I was his last act before he passed. But he gave me a tremendous kind of uh, deep dive into the business, into what was possible, and I
Uh
know
huh.
that's why we met. But when I moved from New York, because I grew up in New York City, when I
Yeah.
moved to California, I started working for Ray Charles. But that was after being on Venture Records. Venture Records was Mickey Stevenson, who was the first A&R man
For
at
Motown.
Motown.
Yeah.
Yes. That was his company that he primarily developed, I think, for Kim Weston. He was married to Kim Weston at the time. What a terrific singer, she is. But
Mhm.
but as I went forward, I started working with Ray Charles, and I
Uh huh.
traveled with him for many many years. And he has been just really a major influence. He was a wonderful mentor of mine who taught me so much about the business and gave me a really deep work ethic, of how to
Yeah.
dig into your songs. And because when you sing a song, you're gonna sing that song for some years. And to stand backstage and watch that was quite some education.
Yeah.
And after working with Ray, I worked with Harvey Fuqua, and I sang Until It's Time for You to Go with New Birth, fronting New Birth. I wasn't in the group, but I recorded the song and sang the lead and wrote some other songs for them, spend my whole life loving you, and different songs. But
I never knew that.
the songwriting thing
Mhm.
was, was my milieu, shall we say,
Yeah.
because I always loved that. I wrote songs I can remember my first song, I was like 8 years old. So I knew it was something I was going to do. And after doing that, I started working for Stevie Wonder, and,
Yeah.
and Steve really kind of put the cap on, how to work this songwriting thing,
Yeah.
along with Denise Williams and Shirley Brewer, Hank Red, Nate Watts, and all the guys, Michael Cimbello from Flashdance fame, of course.
Yeah.
That was just the most wonderful experience. They were young and wild and crazy, and we rehearsed 6 days a week, regardless
Ouch.
of what was going on. And then, of
Yeah.
course, we traveled around the world with Stevie to Japan, England, everywhere. And
Yeah.
England, of course, when we went to England, that's where I met my husband, whom you know.
Yeah. And another Steve.
Yes, yes, cousin Steve. But you know, show business. It was quite hard for me to leave that group because it was
Uh-huh.
so free flowing, and
Uh-huh.
it was the first time I had a chance to, as a grown up, to really, get out in the world. I had been, kind of under lock and key before that. But
Kept
it was so
down.
wonderful. Oh, what an experience! What an excitement that young man creates. I
Yeah.
spoke to him recently, by the way, and he's doing well. He
Oh,
is
good.
doing
Good.
well. Yes, we were worried about him for a while.
Last time I heard
Yeah.
about Stevie, was it his is it his liver?
Kidneys, I think.
Kidneys,
Yes,
kidneys. Yeah. Yeah.
yes.
But he's okay now.
But he's doing great,
Ah,
and he's uplifted and he's happy, and you can tell, he's really inspired. I'm telling you, life puts some stuff on you never expected, and
Mhm.
it makes you think about your mortality, and that's the space he's in. I know because he told me he wants very much. He's concerned about his legacy and what changes he can help make in the world. So that's what he's doing, and we're writing again together. So I'm real happy about that.
Oh, that's gonna be
Oh, that's
brilliant.
great.
Yeah, but
Oh.
he was mad at me when I left the group because I said, I'm going to be one of the Supremes.
So actually,
Turn that
that brings me into the next question. And just to follow on, because I'll be asking Sherry this one as well. So, how did you actually land to becoming a member in the Supremes?
Oh, is that to
Sherry.
me, Steve?
That's for
Oh,
Suzanne.
okay. Yes.
Oh, I thought you would said I would ask Sherry.
Yeah.
Well, I was let's see, my mom was on the board of the NAACP in Beverly Hills here in California. And her compatriot or her best bud was Bob Jones, who was the head of publicity at Motown. So he approached her when Cindy was going to leave the group and asked her if I'd be interested, to find out if I'd be interested in being in the Supremes. And she brought that to me, like you knew my mother, Sherry, so she could be very
Yes.
sort of unlikely, And she said, by the way, she had told me all this other stuff. By the way, what would you think about being in the Supremes? And I was like, what Supremes? What do you mean? I said, well, that's something I haven't done. And I went to meet Mary when the ladies came back off the road,
Yeah.
and we sat and talked, and then I got to meet Sherry, and I can't tell you, there were not two more gracious women that I have ever met. They made me feel welcome, and I know it was a difficult transition,
Yeah.
having someone that is your dear friend and that you've known for years, and
Mm.
changing the landscape. It's pretty tough. But they were so sweet to me and kind to me and taught me everything, and they were patient with me. And I have to say, there is a misconception because online, like, we never knew that a lot of the things that we were doing were being recorded.
Yeah.
Right.
And the mix was always weird, and it varies from place to place.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But you see those and you don't realize from those what a powerful blend we had. We had the most
Mm-hmm.
beautiful blend, natural blend
Mm-hmm.
that people usually, and it's funny because Joyce and Sherry and I do too, but
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We
people
sure do.
who usually are family have that kind of blend, you know?
Yeah.
So that
Mm-hmm.
was a great blessing. And we had so many laughs and so much fun in spite of
I
what
bet you did.
anybody says.
Mm-hmm. We sure
So,
did.
so Cherie,
Yes, Sherry.
how did you land your how did you land your place with the Supremes?
Well, well, it was because of Lamont Dozier, who was my boyfriend at the time at Invictus Records, and
Uh-huh.
he had come out to California for on business, and he ran into Mary Wilson at an event, and she told him that Jean Terrell was just leaving the Supremes, and they were looking for another lead singer. So naturally, he said, "Well, my girlfriend in Detroit can sing. She's with one of the groups we have on the label, blah, 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 blah." So
Yeah.
she called me and I sent, she had me to send some pictures and a copy of our album out to her here in Los Angeles. And
Yeah.
then she called me back. I think it was after she received it. It was on a Thursday, I remember. And I was over to my best friend's house, Walter and Barbara Gaines. Walter was a member of the group The Originals, who made Baby I'm For Real, The Bells.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, um, my mother had given her the number, so that's where I was. And so she called me over there and she said, "I'd love for you to come out to Los Angeles." I said, "Oh, okay." She said, "I liked what I heard and saw." And I said, "Well, when do you want me to come?" She said, "Well, what about Saturday?" I said, "Saturday?" And this was Thursday. I said, "Well, okay." She said, "Well,
Okay.
I've got your ticket at the airport waiting for you." Blah blah blah, and she gave me the information. I said,
Uh-huh.
"Okay." And so Walton, Barb, and Lamont were so excited because he was with me. And so when the Lamont dropped me off at home that night, I told my mother what had happened, and I was so scared. I said, I can't. Am I crazy? I must be crazy. I can't do this." I said, "The Supremes? No, that's just too much. It's just too much. I'm not ready." And of course, my mother gave me that big talk, like
Uh-huh.
mothers will do. And so that Saturday morning, I got on the flight to Los Angeles, and the Cindy Birdsong and her husband at that time, Charles Hewlett, picked me up, took me straight to Mary's house, and we went right into rehearsals, not knowing they had a gig the following weekend in
Wow.
New Mexico at the State Fair. That's how it started.
Wow.
Uh,
That was
the- These
bold and brave of you.
these stories are amazing. I know, and
Yeah.
you went on for many years together.
Mhm.
But something once the Supremes separated, right? You two went on together again to do something else.
That's right.
Tell me
We
about
Yeah,
sure did.
partners.
Well,
What was the concept and why?
partners.
Yeah.
partners.
Partners
Yeah.
was another really kind of juicy story, but Sarita Wright, we went up to Barry Gordy's house,
Mm-hmm.
and because we had actually asked Joyce to join us, and we had met and everything, and were planning
Yeah.
to do that because the
Mm-hmm.
Supreme's name had been licensed to us at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So suddenly, some from somewhere, we were told that they were going to not have the Supremes anymore because there were no original members in it.
mm-hmm.
And because of that, we asked to speak to Barry. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I know I did, and we wound up there at his house.
Straight in. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was kind of shocking, but Sarita was there as well, Sarita Wright, and
Mm-hmm.
Barry asked us if we would be in a group called the Super Group, where we each had
Mm-hmm.
solos, and we each had a group event together. And it was, we thought it was a fabulous idea, and we were
Mm-hmm.
going ahead with that until With You I'm Born Again came out with Billy
Mm-hmm.
Preston
Yeah.
and took the world by storm. And Sarita, there was kind of no reason at that point for her to be in a group, because
Mm-hmm.
that was such a hit record that she more than likely felt, well, this, let me go for my shot now, which, hey, what a record and what a hit that was.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, we sat down with Suzanne DePass and decided to make an album called Partners. And that's what we did.
Mhm. That's right. Susie came up with that title, Partners, for the album.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We're very proud of that album. You know,
Yes.
we wrote everything, and
Yeah.
we co-produced with Gene
Mhm.
McDaniels,
Mhm.
and it is still one of, you know, one of the best produced albums that I think that it was possible for us to do.
Right.
What?
Motown blew it. Motown blew it. They should have really pushed it, but they didn't do it. They didn't really get
Yeah.
Exactly.
behind it.
I was just about to say that. That's the one that that's the one that got away from Motown. They shouldn't have.
Yes.
Mhm.
Do you know what I think? I think you ladies should re-release it.
Well, it's getting ready to be re-released again. I've
Yeah.
heard, and
Mhm.
it's the kind of thing, because it was very forward thinking. You know,
Mhm.
Chuck D, who was from the group Public Enemy, that
Yeah.
a very famous fellow in his own right, of course. I
Uh-huh.
talked to him when Linda's father died, and he said that he had been a DJ at the time that came out, and he just wanted to let me know how proud the community was of Sherry and I for doing that,
Mhm.
because it was so forward thinking to have two women who were in that position with that recording, and for it to be so stellar, the actual
Exactly.
standards, high technical standard of
Yeah.
recording, and beautiful song. And remember, we were in the middle of disco.
Yes, that's
It
right.
was.
That's right.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
And those
1779,
were,
wasn't it?
yes,
1979.
that's right.
Mhm.
So those were
Wow.
real songs with real melodies and great lyrics, and the fans lobbied Universal and Motown for a release of it, and they did it. You know, they did it
Mhm.
just a few years ago, and then again. But I've heard they're going to do a luxury, like the silver box, the
Yeah.
silver set that we did. That was, the last Supremes
Yeah.
record that we did. Just fantastic with all the pictures and the whole shebang. So
Yeah.
I'm
I
excited
can
about that.
Mhm.
I think I've still got my album somewhere. I do have my partner's album that I bought first time around somewhere. I'm going to have to jump in a loft and go through all my vinyl and see where I can get a photograph taken with it. I
Yeah.
actually, that puts me to the next thing. When I first came across to America, with thanks to Sydney Colston, and I seen you at the Supreme Love Show.
Oh
Oh.
yeah. Yes, indeed. That was some show, wasn't it? That was
It
the first
was.
time we had ever we had ever performed those songs.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely
Mhm.
brilliant.
Mhm.
Mm.
I do have a story about the partners, though. Susie and I
Go,
were
hit
doing
do
a
it.
session for Quincy Jones, I think on the Brothers Johnson, and
Mhm.
we were in the studio. And I remember I was
Uh-huh.
standing next to this tall, handsome young man who had just had a record out, and it was really popular. And he was just so excited to meet Susie and me. He said, "I'm just so excited to meet you and Susie." He said, "I just love that Partners album." I said, "Well, I like your record too." He said, "Well, you know what? I submitted my material to every record company in the city, and they turned me down, and blah 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 blah." And but this one record company picked him up, and you know who that person was? It was Luther Vandross.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Wow.
that. Woo! Imagine how those other companies must feel.
Yeah.
Well,
I love it.
it's. I love having chats like this because I remember. I don't know if you heard my interview with Dorothy Moore. Um,
Mhm.
but we were talking about the song "Misty Blue," and did you know that was on the show for 2 years?
Really?
Oh,
Wow, I didn't know
really?
that.
Yeah, no,
Wow.
it was on the show for 2 years. And
Wow.
I'm not going to mention the record label.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. The walk of shame.
But something happened anyway. It was who was it that heard it? Oh, I forget now. But somebody heard the track and went, "Wow, that should be released."
Sure.
And she didn't even know about it getting released. She wasn't even told.
Really?
No, the
Wow.
first thing she knew about it was when it got to #1.
Wow.
Wow. I was in England when that came out, Steve.
Yeah.
I remember that record. That was a fabulous record.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's honestly, it's amazing what you find out when you talk to people. That's
Yes.
what happens behind the scenes. A lot of people don't know this.
Mhm. Right.
It's,
Yeah.
Now, you're all together now. Tell me how Joyce became a member of the Supremes. I know you were supposed to. You just touched on it there, where Joyce was supposed to be with you earlier.
Yes.
But how
Yes.
did Joyce become a part of former Ladies of the Supremes today?
Well, Joyce had been a friend of mine in Detroit at Invictus Records for years since formation of Invictus. She had her sister
Uh-huh.
Pam Vincent, and so she was no longer singing with Tony Orlando and Dawn. She was an original member along with Thelma Hopkins. So Joyce was just doing her own thing and doing sessions with Pam, and so I told Susse about Joyce and how
Mm-hmm.
wonderful she was, and so Susse met her. We went out to lunch, and Susse just loved her and she thought she was perfect for the
Sure.
group. Hmm.
Sure. She's
Hmm.
such a doll.
Yes, she
She
is
is.
to this day.
She introduced me to margaritas.
I don't even think she drinks margaritas now.
That night was with Janitos in that restaurant. Honestly,
Oh, right, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that was
Steve,
so fun. Oh.
Steve, taste this. What is it? It's a margarita. Wow.
Yeah, I've got to go back to that restaurant when they reopen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was great. Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So we're all together. The ladies are back on the street. Back on the but back on the road and touring.
Yeah, right. Don't say the street. It can be taken the wrong way, Steve.
That definitely could be taken away. Uh, the dresses, the outfits, all right? They were glamorous from the Supremes in the 60s and the 70s. How can you? They're so glamorous now.
Mm.
Where do they get them? Where do you get them from? Do you have them made or what?
Mhm.
Because the outfits that you were wearing now are absolutely beautiful.
Oh,
Oh,
thank
thank you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, we have all of our dresses made. Linda Stokes
Mhm.
is one of our designers.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Angela
Yeah.
Ding was one of our designers in the past.
Mhm.
Who else is say?
Carly.
Carly, that's right. Yes,
Mhm.
in Palmdale. Wonderful
Fantastic.
design. Fantastic. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're
So,
just glamour girls at heart, Stevie. What can you say?
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
Now, these dresses, right? They are made, they're tailored for you. So, how long does it roughly take for one of those dresses to be made? Because I know that I've had people saying that they love the outfits that you're wearing, and I just wonder because it must take a while.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
these ladies are professional. They know what they're
Yeah,
doing, so it doesn't take them long. It depends on what's involved in it. Is there a lot of beading or,
that's right.
right? Yeah.
I
And
do love my
Linda's even
sequins.
fast at that. She even does that
Hmm.
quickly, the beating thing.
That's
But
right.
they are, they are crafts people of the
Hmm.
highest standard, and
Right.
it makes it such a joy. You can run around in your jeans and and have fun and, and stuff.
Hmm.
But when it
Hmm.
comes down to it, you put on those fabulous dresses and it makes you feel like a queen. You step out on that
Yes.
stage just sparkling.
Oh, I do love the sparkle. I do love the
Yes,
sparkle.
We do too.
indeed.
Right, I
Oh,
know. You're bound to have loads of these. Um, do you have any funny stories that you can share with our listeners that have happened while you've been on tour?
oh my
Oh my
goodness.
goodness. There probably been so many. Dang.
Well, just to put the ball into the middle of the park, right? When I interviewed Chris Jasper, right, he told me about a story where he's on stage, and they have the suits of the flares and everything else. His was actually ripped off him on stage.
What?
Yeah, he was on stage,
Oh,
and it was literally
oh
ripped
my
off.
goodness. Well, what
Oh.
comes to my mind is in January. We went to
Yeah.
Utah,
All
okay?
right.
Oh
And
yeah.
there was snow on the ground, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we went out. We had a lovely time. We really did. We we did our gig and we had a brilliant time. We met a young lady who is a film agent, and she's representing us now and for film work. So
Oh, good.
we're very excited about that. But
Mm-hmm.
when we were ready to go on the way back to the airport, it was just snowing.
Oh yeah.
You remember that? It was snowing, and it was getting like serious. You couldn't see on the road. And the guy that was driving us, who was so sweet to us, so kind, it kept
Yeah.
saying, well, if I didn't know the way, And that's not reassuring.
Right.
He's driving, and you cannot. Snow was just kind of going in every direction. And when we got to the airport, we made it through security. We got on the plane. And how long did we sit on the plane, Sherry, while we waited for it to stop snowing?
Right. That's right. Oh, I forgot about that. I
It was
forgot about
crazy.
that.
It was just crazy. We sat a couple of hours just
Sure
sitting
did.
there.
So
And I mean, you
what
couldn't
did you
see.
do?
You sat there.
You sat there, yeah, drinking coffee or
That's
whatever.
right. Disgusted, but there's nothing you can do about the
Nothing you can
No,
do. Mm-mm. I
no.
think we waited longer than 2 hours. I have a funny
Yeah.
story, but this was when Cindy Birdsong was in the group, and I remember we were somewhere overseas at a theater, and Hazel Bethgate Craggylack was our secretary, and she was sitting in the front row. No, she was sitting on the side of the stage, standing in the wings rather. And I
Yeah.
remember we came out in these red sequin gowns. I think we had on that had slits up the sides, and I remember we were doing the first song, and I didn't really notice, but Cindy noticed. I guess people were looking at her and pointing, and she was wondering what's wrong, what's wrong. And I'm looking, glancing, and then all of a sudden we're singing. All of a sudden Cindy starts moving toward the wings, still singing. I said, "Well, where is Cindy going? Oh my goodness!" And I think she didn't join us until the next song. But what had happened? She had knee-high stockings on. And she had forgotten that she had these knee-high stockings on and didn't take them off. And so that's what they were pointing. They could see the knee-high stockings.
That's glamour. Oh, wow. By the way, happy birthday to her. She just had a birthday.
That's right. She
Yeah.
sure did.
We love
Yeah.
December
her.
18th, I think. Was it
Yeah.
the 18th or the 15th?
No, I think
Yeah,
it's
dear
15th.
Cindy.
Yeah.
The
She's
15th,
the most
yeah.
sweet person.
Eh,
Yes, she
honestly,
is.
honestly.
My supreme sister.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So, Susie,
Yes.
you're doing a couple of ventures now. I'm gonna ask you about your new venture, your TV program you're going to start. But
Yeah.
before that, tell me about your Peace Prize Foundation.
Well, the Peace Prize Foundation was developed by Bryant McGill, who is a thought
Uh-huh.
leader and inspirational speaker and influencer, who has more followers than Oprah Winfrey. Okay, on the web. And he started talking to me about this, and we developed the World Treaty, excuse me, for peace. And it's just that there is no organization that recognizes the ordinary people who are heroes. That was the idea of it. So
Uh-huh.
aside from that, he has developed the Simple Reminders Network and the Royal Society, a lot of different uplifting things for people. That's my advocacy for peace
Yeah.
is an interesting thing because you know we don't live in a peaceful world, and
No.
peace is as obscure an idea as war is, if you think about it. But when it comes down to it, war makes more money.
True.
So there's more emphasis on discord around the world than there is about advocating for peace. So we push forward, and that's why it was so interesting for me to speak to this young man the other night, who is a Green Beret and who is
Yeah.
involved in policy making. Policy is what makes the laws happen around the world that influence the world. So it's an interesting outlook as a peacemaker to speak to someone who is, you know I can't even say he's not a war maker, but that's his job, is to solve those kinds of
Some
problems
problems.
and disruptions in the world. But it's something that, even if it is a silent wish, peace is something that each of us can achieve within ourselves. And when people, like right now, where we're tied down because of the pandemic, it's a peaceful a peaceful place and a peaceful state of mind, that's the thing that gives you the strength really to carry on, because it's hard.
Mhm.
It's
It is hard, yeah.
spiritually hard on everyone, you know. So,
Right. So,
that's kind of what it's about. But I would like to say, you know, these times, and this is something I'll talk to Sherry about later. But it's
Okay.
something that's come in my mind. Everybody doesn't have faith
Right.
or a religion, but
Mhm.
I believe that right now is a time that those who do need to collectively either pray or make known, speak out their
Mhm.
desire for the world to get along, because
Mhm.
we
true.
cannot
Yeah.
Mhm.
survive individually.
That's
We just
right.
can't.
That's yeah.
We've got to come together on some level. If
Mhm.
humanity is to survive, we've got to do that.
That's right.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Right. Ladies, let me. Oh, yes. I need to know about this because I never knew about anything up until about 3 weeks ago. Now, I want you to tell me and our listeners about your
Okay.
track Unconditional Love. For the listeners who have never heard it, who are about to hear it again. Yeah, I'm going to get it up there for you. Oh, yes. But
Great.
also your brand new Christmas EP. So tell me about that the track Unconditional Love and your brand new Christmas EP. And mainly, uh, why did you pick those 4 tracks? And how did it all come about? How did it all happen?
Well, Unconditional Love, of course, is our single written by Susse and
Yeah,
Jeffrey Chan. And the
yeah,
first time Susse played it for Joyce and me, we instantly loved it. And said, oh,
yeah.
yeah, we got to do this song. And we did. We put our backgrounds on, and then it got nominated and won. And
Yes.
and Susse can tell you about the other 3 songs.
Yeah.
Sule, come on, quickly. You.
Yes. Well, I want to say, first of all, I'm so proud of Unconditional Love and the sound that we've created by
Yeah,
Mhm.
one of my favorite places in the world is in studio, and producing is an overview, of how to make everybody sound at their absolute best, and I think we achieved that together. So, as the producer, I'm very, very proud and very,
Mhm.
very happy to, have the stamp and the last word in that position, because it's,
uh-huh.
it's obviously a place I love and am passionate about. And I'm just so happy that everywhere we traveled, people seem to just love this song that they had never
Mhm.
heard
Yeah,
before. And it just,
Mhm.
it just touches you. And it lets us know, people still need romance.
That's
They
yeah.
right.
do. They
That's
need
true.
romance in their lives.
That's
And
right.
and on Christmas EP, I think we chose those songs because if you think about it, Christmas songs, you know, they are things that have been in your life and in your mind
Uh huh.
forever.
Mhm.
True.
and
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
they're just the
Mhm.
songs, the Christmas songs we were attracted to and passionate about and have loved through the years. Very, very
Mhm.
happy about that.
Because there's one track on that EP that I love because it was performed by the Carpenters.
Oh, which
Which
one?
one? Which one?
Merry Christmas, darling.
Oh yes, of
Oh.
course.
Yeah. When I heard that, I'm like, oh wow. And do you know something? Absolutely brilliant. I love it. I do. I love it.
I'm so glad. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you. Thank you,
So
Steve.
you know what I'm
Yes.
going to do now, don't you? We're going to have
No.
a boo. No, we're going to have a. Did I scare you? No. Right, we're going to have a break from music, and I'm going to
Okay.
play some of the tracks from the Christmas EP, and also play
Ooh.
"Unconditional Love" as well.
No.
All right,
Thank
and I'll be
you.
back with you
Thank
in
you.
round about 10 or 15 minutes time. Is that okay, ladies?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Welcome back, ladies.
Thank
Hi.
you.
Hi there,
Hi, how are you
Steve.
doing? You all right?
Fine.
Are you
Yes.
are you all
Yeah.
refreshed? More-
Yes.
Yes. Yes, we are, dear.
Chris.
right. Just a couple of quick ones for you. Who actually writes your new material? Is it you, Susie, or do you have a collaboration?
We do. We have a collaboration. We're working on things, and we're kind of a captive audience right now. So we're
Uh-huh.
locked down, and we're gonna
Yeah.
press on that so that we have new
Mhm.
stuff coming into the new year.
Mhm.
Yeah. Which brings me nicely to the next question. What does 2021 have in hold for you ladies?
Mm.
Well, that's
Well, what's
questionable.
happening?
It depends
What's
on this
happening with Formally the
pandemic.
Supremes? I know you can't do tours yet, but
Right.
are we going to be releasing more music?
Oh,
Yes,
hopefully, yes. Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Plus,
Mm-hmm.
we've been invited a lot of places already. You know, we've
Yeah.
been
Mm-hmm.
invited back to Dubai and
Mm-hmm.
to India, perhaps, and
Mm-hmm.
to Ireland.
The
So,
Netherlands. Mm-hmm.
yes, and we're
Oh,
ready to go now, but
Yes,
you
we
know, we got to
are.
wait and we'll wait.
where
Mm-hmm.
whereabouts in Ireland are you going to be going? Because I can. Oh, are you going to? Do you have a city that you can mention, or are you
No,
not allowed
not
yet?
not as
No,
yet,
not yet.
not
Mm-mm.
yet. But you know, we will let you know.
Yeah. I didn't say this, but go to Belfast.
Okay.
Okay.
That's-
All right. We'd love to. We would love to. We're anxious
Yes.
to go, you know.
God,
And
there's a lovely venue. You could do the venue is in Belfast Castle. It is absolutely beautiful.
really?
Oh, that would
Yeah,
be wonderful.
and
Mm-hmm.
it has the area where you could actually, what I mean, actually do it.
Yes.
But
Wow. That'd be
Yeah.
something you can have a
fabulous.
chat
Oh,
with your agent about.
wow.
Oh, well, we'll talk about it, you know, because we're excited about everything. But
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to talk a little bit about, because this is England related.
Yeah.
Jazz Wise magazine, which is out of England,
Uh
is one
huh.
of the premier jazz magazines in the world now.
Uh huh.
And they
Ooh.
recently, the past few days, they released on Spotify the top 100, what they called the top 100 most influential best recordings of all time. And Children of the Ghetto, which I recorded with
Oh.
Courtney Pine and sang, I was the singer on it. And literally that album that he put out brought jazz back to popularity for young people throughout
Oh,
It did.
Europe
okay.
Yeah.
and the
It
rest of the
did.
world.
Yeah.
But Children of the
Mm-hmm.
Ghetto is the recording that they have put in that list, along with Miles Davis and Coltrane and all of these amazing, amazing jazz artists. So I am so stoked over that,
I
particularly
bet you
because
are.
I'm getting ready to release a jazz album in the early part of the year. And there are things I've been working on a long time, some some old songs, some classic
Yeah.
songs, and some different takes on different things, and of course some new stuff too that I've written.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm so excited and thrilled. Thank you, Jazz
Oh, that's
Wise.
Yeah.
great. That's
Mercy.
great. That's
But
great.
I've always loved that track because I still play it today when I do my jazz sessions. And if you actually
Yes.
listen to Starlight Jazz, which is one of the stations I've got,
Yes.
you can actually hear your track on there alongside a
Wow.
lot of other tracks.
Oh,
Well, I'm just
okay.
thrilled. And you know, of course, you can buy it on Spotify.
You can buy it on Spotify.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Ah, now you've got
Sure.
something else coming up, Susie, haven't you? You've got
Yes.
a new TV series. Is that correct?
Yes, indeed. This show, along with my friend who is a tech wizard from just an amazing science background and finance background,
Yeah.
Anita Vadavata, and I are doing a show, a digital television show that is called Capital Code. And it's about the machinery of capital, what people think capital really is. You know, most
Mm-hmm.
people think capital, the word, and they think of money. But
Mm-hmm.
capital
Yeah.
also is about branding and influence and value, and even capital cities we're going to talk about. You know, so it's an interesting outlook on the future and the way
Mm-hmm.
people look at the world and how they can take their passion and
Mm-hmm.
make it influence their lives and other lives.
Mm-hmm.
So look
Wow.
out for Capital Code, please.
So
Oh,
is
okay.
that going to
That's
be
great.
online only, or has it been
in
picked up
the
by a
in the
network?
beginning, yes, but we have some very wonderful backers that we're talking to right now who want it to
Uh-huh.
go globally, actually
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
on television. So we're very excited about it. We have wonderful guests, and we have filmed many of the shows already, and we're getting ready to actually begin and put it out this month. So
Oh,
very soon
great.
that's coming up.
Do you know what
That's
channel? I don't,
N-
is it channel or?
no,
Oh,
we'll make the announcement and all of that,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
but it's been tremendous fun because it takes you down roads that you never considered,
Yeah.
Wow.
technology and branding people's brands and their
Yeah.
lifestyle, how their lives have been influenced by whatever it is that they're doing that is valued within the
Yeah.
community and the world. It's pretty fun. And I mean, it's a different kind of subject that I never would have considered, doing. But
Yeah.
Anita is very forward thinking. She's a scientist. I met her through the Raw Science Film Festival, where she won an
Mhm.
award for a documentary that she did. And we just hit it off. We became good friends. She travels the world, and she's very, very influential in the tech industry and in developing AI, artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
it's taught me so much that I had no idea. Oh my God, the robots alone. I'm a great science fiend. So,
Right.
an enthusiast, shall we say. So
Well,
it's pretty exciting to get to see all of these things and how many
yeah.
people look at it so differently. Everyone has their
Mhm.
own story.
Yeah.
Aye. I remember a couple of years ago when I interviewed you both. You turned around and you said, "Oh, we should interview you." I'm still waiting for that.
Oh,
So,
you should.
do you
Oh,
remember?
That'll be
Do you remember
fun.
that, Susie?
I sure
Yeah,
do.
you you
We
you,
shall
you
talk.
turned you turned the tables on me, and I went, "Oh, crap."
Yes.
Def-
Absolutely.
definitely caught off guard. Right. Now, before we close, how can people actually follow you, and where can they purchase this brand new Christmas EP?
Oh, it's all over the place. It's on
Yeah.
Apple Music. It's on all of the digital retail outlets
Uh-huh.
online. People can find it. All they have to do is put our names or our music into Google, and it will come
Yes.
up. You
Yes.
Yeah.
know.
On
So
YouTube, Amazon is found on Amazon.
exactly
Yeah.
Yeah.
everywhere.
So,
Mhm.
uh,
Spotify, all of
Mhm.
them.
for our new listeners, because when I was talking about this interview to a couple of younger people, as in like some teenagers that I know and some people in their 20s, how can people follow the former ladies of the Supremes? Is there ways and means they can follow you and find out
Yes,
what's
of
going
course.
on?
Yes. At former Supremes, Sherry and Susay.
Yeah.
That's the website, our official website. And
Yes.
Yeah.
then we're pretty active. I'm probably more active than the other ladies on other uh
Platforms.
outlets.
Right.
But yes,
Yeah.
That's
other
right. Yeah.
platforms on
Mhm.
Twitter, Susay Green on Twitter. You
Yeah.
can find Sherry on Twitter as well. And if you type in our names, you can
Mhm.
find us. As I
Find
said,
it anywhere.
you go
Aye.
to Google, you can find us pretty easily and pretty quickly. I'm on
Right. Yeah.
Instagram, Susay Green. I'm on Facebook, and both
Aye.
of us are,
Yeah.
on
Mhm.
all of those
But
platforms.
I have to
I
let you know, Steve, I'm computer illiterate, and I'm not I'm not really up on the social media. I don't know
It's
how a lot of it works.
Sherry,
yeah.
Suse is a master at it. I've got
me,
to
Sherry,
learn.
me and you both. I am totally lost with Twitter. I've had a Twitter account
Me
for
too.
ages, and I don't know how to bloody use it.
Oh no, you
Yeah, me too.
guys, stop
Me too.
it.
Sometimes I try to tweet back, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
I was like, what is it?
well,
Yeah, right.
we're gonna have to have lessons, okay?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I need lessons.
Well, ladies, I tell you something, right? Um. Have you got any quick messages you'd like to say to anybody?
You
Um,
you go first, Sherry.
Well, just to stay safe, be careful, and be prayerful. That's what I think.
Yes.
Maybe that's why this is being allowed. God is trying to bring us back to Him,
Yes.
trying to bring us back into reality of loving one another and being
Mm.
kind to one another. There's so much hatred and angst going on right now,
Sure.
and just appreciate one another,
True.
appreciate
Yeah.
life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I agree so much.
Mhm.
I think we were put in this world to love. I
Yes.
really believe that to my soul. But I just want people to understand that our hearts are all in the same place when we break it
Mhm.
down.
Yeah.
If we
Mhm.
don't have food, if we don't have water, those others of us who do have must help other people. And this pandemic, this won't last, but it's up to us. Just wear a
Mm-hmm.
mask.
That's
Not just,
right.
I put it like, my immune system is asking you to save it.
Yes.
And
True.
yours,
Uh-huh.
I will save yours by wearing a
Mm-hmm.
mask. I will
Mm-hmm.
put on my mask when I go out. I will wear gloves, and above all, I will be kind. And I
Mm-hmm.
want other people to realize life is too short. It's too short to live in a time of worry and angst. So
True,
That's
you
yeah.
have
right.
to uplift
That's right.
yourself, and we've
Uh,
got to uplift each other. And
Mm-hmm.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody out there.
Yes.
I
yeah.
hope and I pray for us all to be happy and successful, safe and well. And Steve, you be safe and well until we see you again.
Yes. 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 Yes.
As always, ladies, it's been a pleasure. It's been great chatting with you. Honestly, thanks for joining us today on Christmas Day as well for our
Woo!
Motown. More 10 years. I've been 10 years, 10th anniversary. Wow.
Congratulations. Yes.
Wow.
Well,
So
Merry
much.
Christmas, ladies. Happy holidays. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe.
Thank
And
you.
let's please, hopefully, meet up next year.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a
Once
date.
again, once again, ladies, many thanks, my darlings. Merry Christmas to you. Love you both.
Love you
Thank
too,
you.
Stephen. Merry Christmas and the happiest of New Years.
Yes,
Things will
indeed.
get better. Yes.